Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Italian Sagittario 2. God damn it, I butchered that name. But it's a great little roadster jet, isn't it? I mean, this thing really stood out for me in the dev server. And it has come into the game at 8.0 battle rating. And it's a roadster gunship that is maneuverable. It has good acceleration and stuff like that. It really feels like a nifty little speedster, and that is good. A battle rating, we can debate about that. Of course, it has some downsides as well next to the good sides that it has, and we'll go through them in this review and see what we can do. This was the first thing I wanted to take out because this thing just looks so damn good. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that name again. If somebody can tell me if it was completely wrong, it was completely. I put my hand up. The speeds in this plane at sea level. There is no afterburner on this plane, by the way, so it's just 100% throttle. Is what you can get. At 100% throttle at sea level, she can go up to 1,046 kilometers an hour. At 4,500 meters still go up to 835, and at 6,500 meters this is 729. Now these speeds are quite decent. The engine that this plane has 1,540 takeoff thrust, I believe, and I've checked a little bit with other 8.0s. That is really not even something super special, but this plane is tiny. It is very small. It is on the runway. It's one of the smaller planes out there, and thus it is much lighter than most other planes and can use that thrust much better than other planes, and thus it feels like it has a better engine, but it is just the same kind of engine, sometimes a little worse. For example, MiG-15s have better engines, for example, don't sit exactly at the same battle rating, but still, hey, but this plane is small and light, and that makes that engine that much more powerful. So you do have good power for the plane that you're flying. Top speed in a dive is 1,069 before she redlines and 1,170 plus before she rips apart. I have not managed to rip it apart. From dives from up to 8,000 meters, I have not managed to get it to rip. 1,170 plus somewhere, probably 80, 90 or 1,200 somewhere where it will eventually rip. The speeds, by the way, that I give are in indicated airspeed. There is control stiffening in the plane. It dives very well, and you get it's very nice as a boom and runner, boom and zoomer. There is a slight bit of control stiffening. The handling in the dive is very good, but there is a small tick in roll compression at 650, and one at 825, and another one at 1,000. But it still rolls decently well, and at 1,000, and you can easily roll out of dives, and elevator control stays functional. Not as good as it is at lower speed, 600-700. Of course it's better than at 1,100, 1,200, but if you have to pull out at those very, very high speeds, she doesn't completely lock up. You can pull out, so that is good. She's very nicely manageable. He handles nice in a dive. Stall speed is 110. That is actually it's all right. That's good. The firepower is decent. You have two 30mm Hispanos HS 825 cannons, 120 rounds per gun, which is really no more than average. You have no missiles, no bombs, no rockets, no nothing. This plane isn't built for ground pounding. This is a chic, stylish roadster of a little jet, and it can be a little monster in the right hands, especially for people who fly a lot of jets and whose aim is on point. I was still looking for aim sometimes, although in this match, this was my last match, by the way, which was also my best match, but I did have a few 2-kill matches, 1-kill matches and stuff like that. I had 10 kills in 8 matches and 4 deaths, so that's quite alright. 2.5 kill death ratio in the first 8 matches. It's not bad for me, as I don't mainly fly jets, as you know, so I just stepped into 8.0 and just saw what there was to see. With no missiles and no bombs and no rockets, no combos, no nothing. Just the two 30mm Hispanos. Now the guns seem to be fine. I got good damage from them. It's just that it is very limited on the ammo with 120 rounds. There is worse, but there is a lot better as well in the jet world at 8.0 when it comes to ammo load. So I'd say average. The acceleration in this plane in a straight line and in a dive is excellent. Really great. The plane does not have an air brake, so this can be problematic in a dive. Plane without an air brake, of course, so you have to be careful, but as I said before, it's very difficult to rip the plane, so that may not be a devastating loss that you do not have an air brake. It is a downside though when it comes to having people overshoot you, because the energy retention in this plane is very good, both in the horizontal and in the vertical. He holds her energy very nicely, and an air brake is vital when it comes to having people overshoot you. And in dogfights and maneuvering, this is a definite downside in the plane. You can definitely use the flaps, but the flaps do rip off at 620. So initially, somebody is going to be in the advantage to avoid an overshoot for you, and you will be more vulnerable in dogfights and when somebody's on your tail and you try to have them make an overshoot, because you do not have that air brake, and many other planes at 8.0 and up do have that air brake. Now, in down tiers it might be better, but I did not have a down tier in, well, maybe one half down tier to 7.7. I did see one ME262, but I don't know which rocket version of the ME262 it was, because it was a rocket version, because there were no other lower planes. So it was one of those 7.7 or 8.0, I believe they are. But anyway. Yeah, very, very good. No air brake. That is a little bit a downside, of course, but the performance in this plane is very nice. The climb rate is also very good. It's a light plane. It has a good engine in it. It's good. Turn time is decent. Good with flaps. Flaps rip off at 620, as I said. The roll rate is very good as well. Which is very nice, and that makes the overall maneuverability good. There is an issue with stall maneuvers though. It does not come out of stall maneuvers well. You do take quite a bit of time to get the plane back under control, and that makes true boom and zooming and stall maneuvering well, problematic. But I mean, for example, I've had some encounters with MiG-15s in vertical fights, and MiG-15s still outperform you though. It is not overpowered, this plane, despite what many people say. But there are so many people who say that about all new planes. They're overpowered because they don't know these planes. But this is not an overpowered plane because it has definite downsides that are easily exploited. It is easy to stay behind one of these things, for example, because it has no air brake. Overheating is definitely present. But it is manageable. You cannot fly at 100% all the time and expect not to overheat. So sometimes you just have to fly at 96, 97% and you'll be fine. Durability is bad though. I mean, this is a small plane. It's a delicate plane and elegant, you could say. And if she takes damage, she doesn't take it well. The flight model is very much disrupted by damage on this plane. And it just doesn't want to fly well anymore with any kind of damage. Well, not any kind, I would say. Fuselage maybe less, but any damage on the wings is going to be problematic. It doesn't end well. You're not capable of maneuvering very well after. So you got to avoid being hit, and that may not be a big problem because it's not a big target. This is one of the smaller targets out there, and aiming with jets is not the easiest thing in the world. So yeah, it's a nice little bugger. I enjoyed flying this thing. How to use it? I would say this plane can do a little bit of everything. It's a jack of all trades as a jet. You can energy fight. I would say it's mainly very good at boom and zooming, boom and running, energy maneuvers. As long as you don't put it into stall maneuvers too much, or climbing spirals, because there is definitely planes that climb better that you will face a lot, like the MiG-15s, for example. And the G91 is also much faster and cannot keep up with you easily in the vertical. But energy fighting she can do. Turn fighting, she definitely is maneuverable. Again, in a pure turn fight, MiG-15 will beat you. But against many of the non-turners, this plane is a menace when it comes to maneuvering. Roll rate being very nice and turn time decent to good. Yeah, she really is a beast there as well. Not many planes can really outturn this plane. There's also the boom and zooming this plane can do. As she is very difficult to rip. Long boom and zoom runs with, I can't speak anymore. Long boom and zoom runs that at high speed and at high speed that works very well in this plane as well. So she can adopt variable flight styles, multiple roles, and it makes this plane as a fighter pretty versatile. Of course, she doesn't have any ordnance, she doesn't have any missiles, and you get a lot of up tiers to 9.0, 8.7. So that's a definite downside. They're not an afterburner, no air brake. So there definitely are big downsides to this plane that make it far from being overpowered. But the performance is nice. She has an average engine that you see a lot at this battle rating. But she's such a small, light plane that she really gets more from that engine than many of the planes at the battle rating. So the performance-wise, you can definitely compete at 8.0. It's a lovely looker. I love to fly in this plane. You fly in style in this thing, and it really is a nifty little plane. I really like it, and I would definitely recommend you to get this plane and enjoy it, because it is a fun plane to fly. Very enjoyable indeed. Let's see what kind of rewards we got for that fight there. As you see, rank does not matter. You will get that a lot as you shoot planes down. A final blow, terror of the sky, balancer, bulletproof, 46,000 silver lines and almost 7,000 research points. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Well, fantastic little bugger. The Sagittario 2, maybe a little better. But this plane, man, it is a wonderful little plane to look at. It's really got a stylish design, almost looks like a Ferrari. Lovely. I like that part. It has good speed, good engine, excellent acceleration, very good energy retention, climbs nicely, turns, it rolls, maneuverability good. There's a little bit of overheating, but not too bad. So those are the upsides. You have two cannons that work, but the ammo is limited. Downsides are that you don't have an afterburner, you have no missiles, you have no air brake, you are bad at stall maneuvering. It really controls very badly at lower speeds, and it doesn't take damage well. It takes a big hit to the flight model when you get hit. And those are the downsides. So there's upsides, there's downsides. I feel this plane is reasonably balanced at 8.0 with the downsides and the upsides that it has. It is maybe a bit strong on a complete down tier to 7.0. I haven't seen it though in 8 matches. And it might be a bit towards a weaker point at a full up tier to 9.0. So I feel it's balanced, this plane. It feels good. It's nothing too terrible. It's defeatable. Definitely not overpowered, I would say. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.